So across the split here, Kendo, everyone
Mercy.
having fun and everyone trying to take wins. Now we're ready to move into game 3 between Reapers and Stonk Squad, who are also 1-1. First ban is going to be that Mordekaiser from the Reapers.
And it doesn't surprise me at all. The Caitlyn also coming in. It's pretty much the standard bans all the way across for both teams. They don't want to deal with the Recron. The ban of the Leona going to be an interesting kind of new thought process. You definitely don't want to mess with the amount of CC that you have on the Leona, because Grin Reapers have shown that they like their CC. They like it in droves, and they will try to finish you with it. The Trundle ban, potentially, and it's a Senna ban. I like the hover on the Trundle.
Yeah, get rid of the Senna. I mean, the Senna played exceptionally well. The
Yeah,
Stonk Squad, respect on the Amumu. I don't like that choice, though,
yeah,
because
I
it
don't
leaves
either.
both the Trundle and the Xin Zhao open. I don't think that Anderson Cooper played particularly too well on the jungler, but again, that's what CB Stonk Squad is worried about, because it was the Amumu that was able to get that huge bandage toss into that initiated that bad team fight at the end of game number 2 to give Reapers the win. So when a respect ban may be coming in from that, as Trundle does get picked up by the Reapers, I mean, that is a solid first pick. Maybe not even worried about the Xin Zhao because they've got a plan for it. Meanwhile, Stonk Squad is going to counter with the Lee Sin.
Ooh. Okay, that's a little bit interesting. The one thing that they were lacking more than anything else was initiation in that last match. I mean, you don't necessarily want to throw your tank into your one tank into the middle of everything, especially when you need that tank to sustain itself for long enough to be substantial. Lee Sin gonna give them a completely different flavor, especially when you pair it with the Thresh, who can kind of hold down some of those Lee Sin engages.
Yeah, and now they've got CB Stonk Squad with a big, very strong support, as well as one that Susiwaka has been able to perform exceptionally well in the last couple of games that we've seen him play. It definitely opens up your options for your ADC pick, which you could
Hmm.
potentially choose here in your third round, because the Vayne has been chosen by the Reapers. Now, with that Thresh being ready, you can go for a little bit more of a, hey, pure damage ADC. You can go for that Varus. You can maybe go for a Draven. I don't know if we get to see that Draven coming in from table. I don't know his champion pool, but the Vayne and the Braum going to be picked up from the Reapers played pretty well in game number 2.
Still looks like a hover, but
Oh,
oh, they'll go with the
yeah.
Urgot there. I, yeah, I don't blame them for the switch over to the Urgot, because the Urgot also held its own. Feathers and Fur was able to create Feathers and Fur at time, but with the CB Stonk Squad. They are going to pull out the Lilia to counter it. They did like that matchup. Booty Banging Billy was more than just respectable, was a game changer in the top lane in this matchup. So you're seeing some elements from previous and others that are going to be completely different. The ban immediately from Stonk Squad for the Braum, and I get the feeling that might be what Grin Reapers wanted because of the hover.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it was just kind of a trick as well. The Ivern going to be played out, so we don't get the Anderson Cooper Ivern this weekend, though.
Ah,
I know we were so
oh
excited
well.
potentially for it, but the Reapers are going to take out the Aphelios, which pairs really well with the Thresh, and then the Ashe is the hover right now. Let's see what they decide to go for. It could potentially be the Varus, which he played well in game 1, or maybe the Ezreal. Nope, it is going to be the Ashe, kind of limiting the pool of champions that table can go for.
They're also doing such a great job of making sure that they limit the amount of CC. Like, they have limited the options of CB Stonk Squad multiple times and forced them to create comps out of synergies that don't necessarily work as well as some of the CC chains that they've been able to put out. So Grin Reapers have done an amazing job. That is a Samira with the Thresh. Samira gonna bring a whole new flavor to the Rift.
And you can choose that with the Thresh. You know, I love to see
Oh
it.
no.
Well, we saw Blitzcrank played really well last series by Bully, and he's hovering it. They know that he could potentially go for it, but they do have the win wall from the Samira. They will decide to go for it regardless. So, a Blitzcrank Vayne versus a Thresh Samira. Very similar lineups coming in from both teams in the bottom lane. Travis and Bully have been performing pretty well. Vigar's the hover here, Kendo. I was talking. Vigar's one of those picks. And this could be a huge pickup. Are they going to go for it, Kendo?
I think they are. They are.
Man.
This Grin Reaper squad really does like its CC, and they like it in droves. It does not surprise me at all that Vigar was the pick there in the mid. Now, how do you go about countering that if you're CB Stonk squad? And you have to come up with that answer very, very quickly. The cast is left open. After what happened in game number 1, this could be a very interesting matchup all around. You have the skill-based matchup in the bot lane, the Blitzcrank hook versus the Samira quick little win wall that the character does. It's not like the Yasuo win wall, which you just throw down and it stays there like a gigantic obstruction. It is literally one of those almost frame perfect win walls that's there for just a fraction of a second.
And so it's going to be big. You know, that reaction time is going to have to be there for Table. It's going to have to be there for the Thresh, who does have the Lantern to be able to maybe get the Blitzcrank out of the way. I mean, once the Blitzcrank drops his Q, drops his knockup, there's not really much more that he's going to be able to do. So then it's going to be up to the Vayne to try to condemn them away from the Lantern at that point so that they're able to get that extra little bit of damage onto the Samira. But at the end of the day, this mid lane is also going to be extremely important. Billy Willard playing as the Vigar, another high octane, high damage champion once you get into the mid game. And that has been something that Billy has been picking up in all 3 of these games so far, Kendo. Picks up the Rise in game 1, loses there, picks up the Seraphine in game 2, does really well with the Encore, and now has the Vigar to try to get to that 1000 AP situation in game 3.
I'm going to be looking at the way that they zone things out. I get the feeling that Vigar is going to be a menace to the Lee Sin, trying to keep Lee Sin and keep CB Stonk squad away from some of the priority that they've had on the neutral objectives. So look for that Vigar cage to play a major role in this one, especially when you look all the way around. I do like the fact that Urgot and Lilia, you get the run back, and it may be a salty run back, if you ask me, because I know Booty Bang and Billy did an amazing job, but I also know Feathers and Fur is not someone to go down without a fight. It was a respectable showing against the Lilia, lost the lane, and the Lilia was, well, the Lilia was one of the reasons that CB Stonk squad were so close, that close to having the victory on the tail end of game number 2. But all around, I get the feeling this is going to be 2 teams that want to prove themselves to the entirety of Light League, and they've set themselves up pretty well to do it.
And so, I mean, this is a really fun game. I mean, game number 3 situation coming in, Kendo. 1-1 between Grin Reapers and CB Stonk squad. This is my favorite part about 3-game series, and I'm super excited that I'm able to cast it with you here in week number 4. And now, I mean, my question now is, in terms of CB Stonk squad, is how well No Name is going to be playing as a Cassiopeia. Yes, performed well in game 1, but is it just a 1-game wonder? Will No Name be able to pull out the same 4-man ultimate that he was able to do last time? He doesn't have the charm from the Rakan. He doesn't have the ability to be able to get multiple members facing him for that petrifying gaze. So will it be as effective in game number 2? I don't know.
Probably not. So it will be a much more skill-based matchup there in the mid lane. All around, though, so many intriguing possibilities and so many intriguing questions. It's enough to tire someone out, especially with that Lilia throwing out blossoms that pollen allergies that'll make me go to sleep. I got grab my bandage with my allergy medication.
Well, Kendo. Well, you need to relax, man. That lilting lullaby is there. You gotta get that. You gotta get that sleep. It's important. But if you can't get that sleep, if the lilting lullaby is wearing you down, I've got a solution for you, and that is AM Grind Coffee. But one of our sponsors here at XLNC, AM Grind Coffee, is one of the best. Super thankful to have them as a sponsor here for the Light League, Kendo, and they're offering 10% off your order with promo code XLNC. If you want to go for them, check them out. They are some amazing coffees coming through. Kendo taking a sip of his cup right now. How's it tasting?
Ooh, I got the extra overtime blend today, my friend. Medium light, milk chocolate, fruity caramel. The tasting profile is all there. You gotta love how they source these beans from all around the world. AM Grind doing it the right way, bringing you flavor and energy all in a wonderful package. Subscribe today. Save an extra 5% while you're at it, to get that subscription delivered right to your door on the weekly, monthly basis. But I'm sure they could figure out something weekly if you really wanted to. You know what I mean?
Oh, of course, absolutely. But at the end of the day, we appreciate you as always for stopping by. We appreciate AM Grind being one of our sponsors. We are now about ready to get into a very exciting Game 3. Before we do that, however, we're going to take a quick break. The league will be back in just a moment. Definitely stay tuned. All right, everyone, we are back for game number 3, Excellency Light League underway. It is a 1-1 series between both the GRIN Reapers and the CBS Stonk squad, Kendo, and there is still plenty of game left to play.
And I am interested to see how the shenanigans in the mid lane go this time. As you remember, in game number 2, it was Barack smacking Anderson Cooper with a spear. Disrespect, if you ask me. Of course, I'm not sure if Lee Sin can hit any of these moves, being that he's blind.
No, I think he could if he wanted to, but at the end of the day, it doesn't look like any sort of real shenanigans. Gonna keep that respect there, because remember, last game it was a throw or a devastating loss for the Stonk squad in game number 2. Little bit of damage on the feathers and fur. That's just gonna end the game entirely here for the Urgot in the top lane. No way he's gonna be able to survive now. But other than that, nothing too crazy happening as we get another topside clear coming in from Cooper.
Yes, indeed. And all good boys and girls will go to lane as we do get a good start for both junglers, to be perfectly honest. And we're going to be focusing probably a lot on that top lane. Feathers and Fur, Booty Bang and Billy, round 2 of the Lilia versus the Urgot. It went well for Booty Bang and Billy, just not well enough. They stayed competitive, end up losing in the very tail end of game number 2.
Oh. The grab lands already. That is one grab for Bully as he lives up to his name. Gonna take over half of the HP from the Samira early on.
Wow.
But should be able to take that away or be able to get that back fairly easily. Mid lane, it's going to be Vigar, played by Billy Willard, trying to be able to capitalize on some early game CSing, which is always so important when you're the Vigar. You want to be able to get those phenomenal evil stacks going as quickly as possible. But if you don't, you're going to be way behind moving into the mid game, and that AP advantage that you're able to get just not going to be there.
Of course, if you remember last week, I talked about how the Bully is a 60% win rate on Blitzcrank. Very, very proficient with these hooks, already showing off that proficiency. That is a very dangerous game to play if you are the Samira. And that's another hook. This is a big go-in.
The kill is going to come through into the Flay to be able to keep Waka alive, but now Cooper is there. No flash for Waka to be able to get away from this one, and he is fresh meat. The lantern from Waka to try to keep him alive. It's not going to be enough as the Flay lands, but the hook is going to land on a Bully. A little bit of damage, but not enough to get that kill. It is first blood going towards the Reapers.
Once again, a little bit of a too far forward syndrome as the Troll is back on the Rift. Anderson Cooper going to reap the rewards. We do have a little bit of a jungle invade here by the Lee Sin. Gonna reward up the blue buff, and we do have a replay here. Again, half health. I'm not sure you should be pushing it this hard as Samira. And continues forward, gets the initial pick. They try to go for an counterattack, and this is where playing around your cooldowns is so important, because there is no Flay coming in for this Thresh. No ability to help outside of the Lantern. And it ends up being exactly what we see right there. Play around the cooldowns and wreck your opponents when you get the chance. Try to avoid that hook if you are at the table, because right now, that's 2 for Bully.
Yeah, and I apologize. I made the error. It wasn't the Lantern. It was the E ability from the Samira to be able to dash away. It might be the W. I don't play a lot of Samira. If I could be so honest, the ADC is not the role that I normally play. But it is the jungle that I normally play. And now we've got Bully trying to be able to potentially get a kill on Feathers and Fur. He's going to get knocked up and stunned. Gonna end with the W ability, gonna get the flash out of the Urgot, and now he's gonna have to flash away himself. Cooper doesn't have flash to be able to continue to keep it up. He wants to be able to get the extra little bit of movement speed and will be able to get out of that gank.
Yeah, really well played by Booty Bang and Billy, but a lot invested in that recovery to get away from Anderson Cooper. Anderson Cooper is already making their presence known on the Rift and has the 8 CS lead. Multiple camps already up on the Lee Sin of Barak.
Well, he is going to be going for the Infernal Drake, though. The Lantern, or the hook, does not land from Sussiwaka, but it will end up being the smite and the kill onto the Infernal Drake coming in. So it's either an Ocean Soul or a Mountain Soul in game number 3 here, Kendo. I'm going to make the prediction it's going to be an Ocean Soul yet again, as No Name going to be able to land the Petrifying Gaze on a Bully. Will be able to pick up that kill and will be able to flash away from the box. Now wants the kill onto Willard. He doesn't have the flash ready to go, so it will end up being Willard being just fine, but a failed roam from the support.
Well, I mean, if we're going to take shots in the dark, we might as well go with the well, I'm not sure. I'm thinking about it. I'll get back to you on that one. Booty Banging Billy, again, doing a great job of bullying Feathers and Fur out of the lane. Just a little bit further, we do have a replay of our most recent... Oh, it is the low... it is the mid kill here from the Bully and Billy Willard, No Name, getting really caught out, but still finding a way. Even despite the CS, or excuse me, despite...
Yes, despite the box, despite the event horizon, will end up being Barack going, or not Barack, pardon me, No Name being able to get that kill, is now in the lead by about 500 gold. Speaking of Barack, though, he is in the bottom lane to pick up his blue buff. With the Trundle in base, that could potentially be a 3v2, but instead, just that extra pressure to be able to make sure that the bottom lane is able to get that CS fairly freely. Even in CS right now in the bottom lane, a little bit of a gold advantage for the Vayne because he did get the first blood. Booty Banging Billy, yet again, keeping the pressure up on the Urgot. 18 CS in the lead, just continuing to have that early game pressure. Being a semi-ranged champion, was able to get away from that gank earlier. CBS Stonk Squad up by about 700 right now because of the CS advantages.
Yeah, not too bad at all, and they are also keeping up as far as the gold advantage. In fact, this is probably the best that they performed in the gold advantage thus far, just being consistent, just playing it safe, and at the same time, keeping the pressure on where they have the ability to. Looking back and forth, it looks like we do have the Trundle pathing top side. Maybe a gank here on Booty Banging Billy. Might be in trouble.
He does have that extra little bit of movement speed, and he's going to continue to try to kite around. The teleport is going to be coming in from No Name, and this could be a big turn for the CBS Stonk Squad if they're able to get anything here. Instead, the teleport is going to get used. He did just back, so just going to be a mild trip back to the mid lane. Does have the built-in boots with the passive, so Cassiopeia will be able to get back to lane. Doesn't lose too much out of that one. So nicely done. Great reaction coming in from the Stonk Squad.
But it still is an early teleport gone by, and No Name down the road might not be able to utilize... they might not be able to utilize No Name in one of these team fights for objectives coming up very soon. Of course, we do have the Rift Herald up. Not too much pressure from either team on the Rift Herald. In fact, all the vision in the world, anyone will know that someone's going for it. This may be a Rift Heraldless, plateless endeavor.
Either team really trying to be able to keep the bottom lane as their pressure. Anderson Cooper maybe revealing himself here in the bottom lane. This is a 2v3 situation. Susiwaka and Table now potentially going to be the targets here. Cooper does have flash if need be, and they might actually be able to go for this one. A little bit of damage on the Table. Bully is going to be able to get that extra little bit of movement speed. Table going to get the lantern to be able to get back from that one, and will survive just barely. Meanwhile, in the top lane, because Anderson Cooper revealed himself, CBS Stonk Squad's able to get this Rift Herald practically for free.
Vision, 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 and the Stonks are up once again, putting themselves in prime position, and I'm looking to see who got that Herald. It will be on Barack, so potential mid lane push coming in. I would have liked to have seen it potentially on Booty Banging Billy, just to break the top lane completely open, but, you know, that's just the top laner talking.
Now Barack actually gonna be in a bad spot. Flash away as the Trundle, even in the bottom lane, is going to be able to take down Samira. That is 2 kills for the Reapers, and Susiwaka is going to go down as well. Travis will heal to survive. 3 kills for the Reapers across the Rift. The final gank coming in from Anderson Cooper to keep it going.
And the bot lane loses out. It's a travesty, ladies and gentlemen, as they are going to be getting the Dragon as well as a 3-kill advantage on the entire exchange. That does not bode well for CBS Stonk Squad. Goodness, they have some work to do right now because they are gonna have to come from behind.
Yep, and they are going to have to work exceptionally well. It is a boot advantage because of that play of for Travis in the bottom lane. They're both going for the Immortal Shield Bow, which makes sense. But, you know, Table and Travis both playing champions that are very much feast or famine. Rift Herald is going to get someone in the bottom lane as well to be able to influx a little bit of gold to stimulate the bottom lane a little bit more, as we do get the headbutt coming through. Going to be able to get down to 2 plates now, but the Rift Herald will die immediately to Travis, hitting it in the backside. At the end of the day, at least getting about 320 gold, 480 across the rest of CBS Stonk squad.
Yeah, then Division did spot out Anderson Cooper, so the retreat probably pretty smart. They did not end up overcommitting like they have in the past. That could have been lethal to die there again. Looking through the gold, we do have the Lilia once again getting out to a lead, 500 at 12 minutes, 12 and a half minutes. But we're seeing the disparity once again in the jungle. Oh no, it's Anderson Cooper taking him down, and Samira still unable to do anything about it.
Had a lot of damage with the Inferno trigger, but it wasn't enough. Another good gank coming in from Cooper. Didn't even have to use his ultimate. So now all of that play coming in. We've got a teleport coming in from Billy Bang and Billy. He wants to be able to get the double kill. Will he land anything though? He wants it. Will he get it? He will not. He has to run away. It's disaster for the Stonk squad. The Lilting Lullaby doesn't land, and it's 3 kills for Travis.
Oh my, No Name's gonna be working on the mid pressure, but at this point, that was 0 return on investment for everyone involved. The Stonk squad, as we get to see this battle one more time, I don't know that I want to see it. That's how bad this goes for the Stonk squad. They end up going in on it. Anderson Cooper coming around the corner. They had just cleared the ward recently. They know there's very little to no vision. And this is just pure 100% well-played team play. The communication of Grin Reapers coming through.
And unfortunately for CBS Stonk squad, that puts them way behind. 1,400 gold at this point. 7-1. The Immortal Shield Bow lands for the Vayne as well, which is huge for Travis moving into the 15-minute mark. Rift Herald was taken, so I mean, it does get a lot of damage onto that bottom tier 1 tower, but at the end of the day, still going to have to be a little bit behind as they get the headbutt landing onto Billy. Billy gonna try to get away. He will end up getting hit by the beautiful use of that Fear Beyond Death, but now No Name wants to kill Feathers and Fur, will die, but that teleport just makes it a 2-for-1.
And a lost teleport yet again. CB Stonk squad have been throwing themselves just a little bit too late into what the Trundle has been able to do. And this is not the fight. This is not the fight, Cable.
He wants to try to get some damage onto Travis. He flashes back under it, but it's not going to be enough. Waka going to get hit by the ultimate from Billy Willard, but it won't be enough. At the end of the day, the tower goes down in the bottom. First tower going to Travis and Bully. The gold lead and the disparity between this Vayne and Samira just continues to grow. Kendo, right now, I mean, Table is starving. There's nothing but empty ceramic plates for him to feed on here in the first 15 minutes.
Forget ceramic. You're looking at cardboard. You're looking at paper plates. Not even what you'd expect from the normal set. I do believe we have a replay from the top lane gank, and I just gotta see. There was vision there and everything. It's just extremely strange to me that Booty Bang and Billy allowed themselves to be caught out that hard. And yet again, we see that ill-advised teleport going all the way through. it's just a feels bad man moment on the side of CB Stonk Squad, because the memes are not flowing with this one. We do have the Ocean Drake going down. Grim Reapers are just able to take it. No challenge whatsoever.
Now they're looking to maybe go for more. Bully trying to find Rock out of position. Rocket Grab is still ready to go for the Blitzcrank. Maybe onto Waka, maybe onto Table. And we got two members of the Stonk Squad in the bottom lane as well to go up against Billy Willard and the Vigar. Lilia is on the way. He's going to get stunned by the Event Horizon, but not on the tower, so we'll be able to survive. But now, with two members showing in the bottom lane, this Rift Herald just gets obliterated by the Reapers to add to their advantage.
Does get obliterated, and they will just continue to keep the pressure on. They have the advantage in almost every lane. The Cassiopeia still does have a CS lead. The Lilia still does have a CS lead, but it's all marginal, especially when you have Anderson Cooper going around. That is a drop of the Rift Herald. Barack gonna get eaten by Feathers and Fur, and Booty Bangin' Billy's gonna pay the price. Anderson Cooper can just chase the Lilia down. Not quite, though. That is one kitey deer.
Trying to run away, continuing to just try to get as much damage as possible, but you can't play with fire that often. You will eventually get burned. GRIN takes the tower in 2 kills.
This is slowly but surely becoming a very desperate situation for CB Stonk Squad. And the old adage, the old song goes, you gotta know when to hold it, know when to fold it. At this point, they gotta know when to just stop trying so hard on some of these pushes, because they continue to make mistakes. Oh, this is painful.
Yeah, it is. It's rough. I mean, again, you know, we saw Billy and Fur going up against each other in the same 1v1 that we saw in Game 2. But they just decide, you know, this time that Anderson Cooper is just going to be all across the Rift, extremely potent in the early game, and will be able to have influence on 2 out of the 3 lanes, basically. And then Rock, unfortunately, you know, giving Vigar kills in the early game for the Vigar is pretty large as well. And so a bunch of errors coming in from the Stonk Squad, keeping them at a 5,000 gold deficit fast or before the 20-minute mark. It's going to be a rough situation for them moving forward. No towers going down yet, but still, it's a big advantage for GRIN.
Yeah, and you don't have as much scaling as you did in some of the previous games over on the CB Stonk side. It's a bad situation all around. This is going to be yet another pick. As Tussie Waka goes down, Anderson Cooper is everywhere right now.
Just cannot be stopped. Rock and No Name are in the bottom lane. They will end up getting the tier 1 tower to go down. But now in the mid lane, you've got all 5 members of the Reapers trying to go for this tier 2 tower, and it will just go down. There is no response coming in from CBS. They have no way to defend it. The siege is there. The power is there. The Reapers just continue to reap the rewards of their amazing early game.
And they are not being too greedy either. They back off immediately after grabbing the tower. They know everyone's up. They're getting ready to spawn. They could have gone for even more damage. They'll just take the vision. They'll take the full-on retreat. And they will take the wind out of the sails of CB Stonk Squad. They continue to just be a threat all over the place. Baron is up. Drake is working its way in the next 45 seconds. The vision favoring Grim Reapers on really both situations, as you have the Scuttle Crab. We are going to see where the skirmishes take place as everyone tries to get that little bit of extra vision.
There's really no pushing power for CBS Stonk Squad right now. Bully is so close, and Waka's gonna get pulled in, and it is gonna be Waka obliterated yet again. Billy Willard will use his Primordial Burst to be able to get that one to go down. Subjugate gonna land onto Rock as we do get a beautiful Petrifying Gaze. Table's gonna try to do what he can. The Infernal Trigger is ready, but he doesn't even get to pull it off. It is a triple kill for the Vygar. Make it a double kill. Make it another kill for the GRIN Reapers. This time, Travis picks that one up. Cassiopeia does get the shutdown onto the Trundle, but at what cost to the base of the Stonk Squad? Travis is still alive. Bully is still alive. Waka and Billy will try to be able to do what they can to defend against this siege, but there is nothing that they can do. The bowling ball does not land, and now they're going towards the next dragon, which I believe is going to be Soul.
I do believe it is Soul, and they should be able to get this with zero consequence. Booty Banging Billy on the way, but has no help. That is going to be yet another Drake to GRIN Reapers.
Not Soul, pardon me.
This has been impressive for GRIN Reapers. 17-4 currently. The gold difference steadily gapping itself more and more. We see the experience per player quickly finding its way off to the side of the screen. But I don't think I need to iterate it very much. You don't need to see the stat. Everybody on the GRIN Reaper side is up.
Yeah, Kendo, and I mean, everything is just looking so good for the Reapers. Let's take a look at that mid-fight yet again and see how they were able to make it happen, Kendo. I mean, they pull in Waka immediately. There's really nothing much more that they can do. The Subjugate lands, which gets the slow onto Rock, and then No Name gets caught out as well. He drops a nice Petrifying Gaze, but unfortunately, another Rocket Grab is going to land, and it ends up just being a 4-for-1 situation in favor of the Reapers. Baron does get pulled out by the Reapers in the live play, but they do disengage, with Booty Bang and Billy trying to push out what he can in these side lanes.
And they will continue to push forward. It's good for CB Stonk Squad. Oh no, the pole!
That's the 60% win rate coming through from Bully. Yet again grabbed, and this time the snake, and doesn't get stung by that one either.
One from the Raptor Pit as well. Bully is on fire right now, and everyone else is of no consequence. They are going to grab even more vision, and you know, we'll give Kazazi Walker credit. The 69 vision score right now, despite the fact, you know, losing effort. Very nice.
I mean, that's a small consolation prize. You got to pad those vision score stats to be at the top of the support chain in terms of that regard. But what are you going to lose because of it? Waka will see that the Baron is getting taken. There is nothing that Barak and the rest of CBS can do. Rock may be trying to go for it. He will not be able to get it. It will end up being Cooper picking up the Baron. And that'll be the disengage. Nothing for cost to get that one picked up.
And that is almost the game. They probably could force their way down the mid lane. It looks like they might be doing that with 4, maybe 5 Feathers and Fur there in the jungle, taking away resources as they go. I'm not sure they completely know what is going on. CB Stonk Squad, everyone gathering around. They're very segmented in their defense right now, trying to push forward and out. GRIN Reapers are just going to get that inhibitor for free.
Nothing that they can do. I mean, it's a 7,000 gold lead. The Baron buff is there. The vision is there. Shout out to Travis. 35 vision score here at this point in the game. Really keeping up with Bully as well, so that they both are able to compensate for what Walk has been able to do vision-wise. And now they're just able to siege forward. That is Tier 2 tower going down. They're going to land onto Ruck, and he gets obliterated yet again. The Primordial Burst is there into the Lilting Lullaby from the Lilia into a huge Petrifying Gaze. A lot of damage, but it's not going to be enough. Lilia will end up getting down Billy Willard, and now Cassiopeia is going to get another kill onto the Trundle. Bully is the next target. Will they be able to get that one? Yes, they will, but No Name's going to go down to the Vayne. It is a 4-for-3 in favor of CBS, and the defense keeps them alive.
So you're saying there is a chance, Moose, as they are undaunted. Now they need to set themselves up, though, very quickly. Soul Point is on its way. 44 seconds to go as we take one more look at what was the full-on team fight between these two teams. Billy Willard immediately getting the Lee Sin of Barak out off of the bat from a bully pull. The CC has been so good for this Grin Reaper squad, but once the cooldowns are cooked, the CB Stonk squad are making their way through the short selling of their team play effort.
Oh, we've got ourselves a crucial dragon fight. I mean, even though you did defend the Nexus, the dragon is now the next target as we do get the grab. Booty Bang and Billy gonna get hit by everything and the kitchen sink. Anderson Cooper will pick up the kill that will guarantee the Ocean Soul.
No guarantee emotes coming out either, and if you're How I Met Your Table, you might want to meet your back turret here really quick, because this is going to be very dangerous. That is Bully. Bully's got him. Very close. Hey, we did finally see the block of the hook.
Finally able to get out of that one, but now it is a 4-man push coming in from this Reaper squad that has the health and mana regeneration of the Ocean Drake. We're going to be pulling out those emotes, but emotes cannot save you from the Grin Reapers. Lee Sin will go down. We're going to get the teleport coming in as the Event Horizon does not land that time. The inhibitor is now the next target in a 4v5 situation. That CBS Stonk squad has to be able to survive. Lilting Lullaby is ready for Billy, but it is going to be a stun onto Waka into a lot of damage, but not quite enough just yet as the tower ends up going down. Bully will die, making it a 4v4. Nice use of the wind wall to deny the primordial burst, but the damage is there. The numbers are there. The Lilting Lullaby is going to land, getting everyone asleep, but it is delaying the inevitable as Waka tries to survive. It is not enough, and it will be a double kill for Feathers and Fur to end the game. Grin Reapers take this series 2-1.
Well, this has been quite the series, Moose, because we saw CB Stonk squad put together quite possibly the best push against Grin Reapers that has happened throughout this season of the Light League thus far. And Stonk Squad also showed us something that I get the feeling the power rankers are going to look back and be like, hey, they did pretty good in those first two games. That being said, disastrous game number 3 for CB Stonk Squad. And I understand, eventually you do run out of capital. You're not able to keep those gains going, and the portfolio finally collapses. That was a full-on collapse. They ended up committing too hard to so many different things. Just a small step behind here or there, and the Grin Reapers were able to reap the consequences.
They were, and they had a phenomenal game number 3. The defense was there in that one little push that we saw. No Name showing us that he isn't just a one-game wonder with the Cassiopeia. He had some really strong performances with those petrifying gazes, was able to get those stuns to come through, but unfortunately it wasn't enough. Unfortunately, Booty Bang and Billy, unfortunately not able to have that same level of power that he had in game number 2 with the Lilia. They figured it out, they learned from their mistakes, and unfortunately it just wasn't the same effectiveness that we saw in game 2 in the top lane.
Well, let's talk about the fact that you had Grin Reapers learning from their mistakes. The first game did not go very well. in this series. In fact, it was anybody's game as both teams were throwing themselves into so many different team fights. That is probably the most high octane match that we have seen on this stream and might go down as one of the top 5 contenders for most deaths in 30 minutes. You gotta love how much they were looking for the win and they weren't afraid to throw it all out there. That was the one CB Stonk Squad won, and they took advantage of the mistakes. It was one dire mistake after the adjustment in game 2 that ended up being their undoing, and then it was a litany of mistakes, a never-ending slew of them that came forth from CB Stonk Squad in the back end of this series. I'm encouraged by what we saw from Stonk Squad. I'm also encouraged by the fact that the GRIN Reapers, they just seem to get better each and every game they play against you.
And it was a really strong performance. I mean, you were talking about, you were basically talking about the adaptability that the Reapers had. They learned from their mistakes and they were able to come up with solutions to their Lilia problem. Unfortunately for CB Stonk Squad, the same could not be said. They tried to force a composition that just didn't work out in game 3. No real clear identity from the team composition. They tried to force the Lilia, which they thought was going to go really well into the Urgot. It didn't. They put the Samira with the Thresh to try to be able to go for that feast or famine to get into the late game. Didn't get to the late game. They tried to be able to use the Lee Sin effectively, and he gets bursted down against the Vigar level 6. And it ends up just being, like you said, a litany of mistakes in game number 3 for CB Stonk Squad. That does end up meaning that they lose the series 2-1 to GRIN Reapers. So congratulations to them. We're going to take a quick break before we jump into the interview. So we'll be back in just a moment.